right, we have any deletions or additions to the agenda? And we do have, a proposal, right, a naming proposal for the, Southside Park, and so that's gonna go into our, into the part of that when we talk about Southside Park. So, anything else?
Yes. I would like an opportunity to talk about the town hall meeting.
Oh, yes, okay.
Would you like me to just talk about that under the committee member comments?
Yeah, that would work, okay.
And I want to bring up, when it comes time to talk about the October meeting, about a possible conflict.
Okay.
Thank you.
We can do that under committee member comments too, probably.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Alrighty, as we go ahead and just, public comment portion of the agenda is opportunity for Parks and Recreation Committee to listen to the public, but not for dialogue. Commenters are allowed up to 3 minutes, present information relevant to the committee, not otherwise listed as agenda item. Please note that complaints should be first addressed to appropriate city department or the city manager prior to directly addressing the Park and Rec Committee. Is there any public comments? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move forward to our presentation from the Friends of the Sheridan Parks. Barry, step up.
Thank you. Got a handout here, first of all.
Alright,
Thanks, sir.
To know, basically.
we'll just hand it and we'll just pass it down. How about that?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Okay.
So first of all, we've been a group of, as far as Friends of Sheridan Parks, we've only been 4 people for quite a while. And we've added 1 or 2 more, but we're also losing 2 of our principals. Vivian and Paul Pena have their house for sale, and they will be moving to California probably before the end of the year.
Oh no.
So Vivian being president, we're kind of scrambling to see who's going to do what and how many people we can add to make it viable.
Yeah.
So at any rate, that's going to limit us, at least for the short term, to what we can do going forward. But in terms of the handout, I just put together a real brief summary of what we've been doing, which is primarily since Hometown Day, has primarily been the community garden, which is brand new operation this year. Gay Hall Pentecost has been our member and our garden manager. She's done a fantastic job over there. We have 15 beds, 13 of them or 2 of them are ours that we're using to grow herbs and the like. The other 13 are rented to community members. And you can see from the picture that it's been pretty prolific. I guess there's tomatoes coming out our ears for one thing.
I just drove by there on my way here and there was a couple people over there.
Yeah.
So that was nice to see.
So, if you haven't been by there, go by, just take a look. We appreciate the city's support with the property, the fencing, the water, the electricity. One thing we're still lagging on, and of course when we're doing things on a volunteer basis, things can go slowly. So the shed, now that rainy season is coming, still is not totally done. Hopefully within the next couple of weeks, we will get the final roofing on and the doors on, and some kind of lighting inside so we can secure our tools. And we've scheduled a fall cleanup day for October 26th, which is a Saturday, and that should involve hopefully everybody that's rented a bed. So it should be looking pretty spruced up after that. Okay?
Absolutely. And I'll mention the time slot, I think Barry is what?
10 o'clock.
10 to maybe,
10 till it's
2-ish.
pretty much wrapped
Wrapped
up.
up,
Probably
yeah.
2 o'clock. The rain day is the following day, 27th. So that's the garden. It's been a tremendous success, and there is room to expand the beds. I know there's one 6x6 bed that's being put together probably this fall yet. And there'll be more. There's still more space to put more beds. So I'm sure next year we'll probably have 4 or 6 more beds. And there's enough interest to keep it going. So it's a good deal. So that's, any questions on the garden? Okay, the skate park is a little bit different animal. We're kind of feeling, we are feeling like the cart's in front of the horse on that deal. We really can't, first of all, the amount of fundraising that might be required is way more than we probably feel we can handle. But the other part of it is, we're just an arm of this whole project. The city has to be in charge of securing another couple of bids and giving everybody an indication of the scope and the estimated cost of this project before we can go ahead and start to see what we can fundraise for, which is not going to be a big amount compared to the total cost. So we're really kind of on hold. We have a separate account at First Federal for our funds that we raise, but we only have $305 in there to start at this point. A couple of contributions, but we're just kind of waiting for the city to kind of firm this thing up and see what all the bids look like and what they're willing to commit to. Whatever grants we as a nonprofit might go for, we can't really do much till we've got some numbers here and some commitment from the city. So that's kind of where we're at with that. Kind of switching then to some of the things that come up at our last meeting, which was Monday, on the city park itself, and remembering Friends of Sheridan Parks is a nonprofit. Its main goal is to raise funds to help the city do these projects. We also have inherited the garden, as I mentioned, so that takes a lot of time and resources. But on the city park, the basketball court has come up. I was over there yesterday, and we need some, it's used quite a bit, as I understand. And it needs to be cleaned up. The main court, as you can see on the back side of this, the east-facing hoop, or the hoop on the east side, is missing the whole. The backboard is missing the hoop, so we can't really use that end of it. So we need to replace that. I don't know if Public Works has that on your list, or?
I believe it is.
Okay. So we can talk to you and help with that. And the other end of it, the painting and the nets look good, but just cleaning it up, and the lines I think are repainted maybe a couple of years ago, but they will need to be upgraded at some point so we don't lose the whole layout of the free throw lines and boundaries and all that. So that's one small project. The other one is that kitchen, the outside, inside the kitchen needs work too, but the outside of the kitchen, if you can see from the picture, obviously we need to spruce that up. That's the first thing people see over there, and it needs to be painted, and those rods that secure the doors are all bent, and we've struggled with that time. Every time we use it, we struggle with it, trying to close the thing up. So we need to get that straightened out and repaired, so it looks better and it's more usable. So that's kind of where we're at.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So you need handles or mechanisms or
to me about that later. Building materials, that's what you need.
What's that?
You need building materials for this?
Possibly.
Please tell
We
me.
may have to replace a backboard for one thing on the
I'm just saying,
basketball
I
court.
might be able to provide some
Yeah, okay.
tool, I mean,
Yeah,
talk
that,
to me about this later.
yeah, we'll do. We will, yeah, we're always looking for donations.
Well, you know, we have a building material store, so,
Yeah.
possibly work.
Thank you, Alicia.
Any questions regarding Friends of Sheridan Park? Again, stop and see the garden if you haven't.
It's beautiful.
It's wonderful, and I wish more people knew about it, because I've been reforming this, okay.
No, that's all right, I was just gonna talk about the skate park and the bidding
Oh, yeah,
and see what the committee feels like.
yeah, is that, I mean, it's in the, on our agenda, so.
Okay, wait till then?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll have some more information with the skate park.
Okay,
and that.
yeah, any direction we can get would be helpful.
Yeah, can I just have a comment real quick? I have joined a lot of things on Facebook that I don't really wanna join, because I don't necessarily wanna do all these social media things. But I've been wanting to respond to some of the comments, and there's things in there like, we don't have public places for gardens, and I'm like, what? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Where have you guys been? So I don't know if maybe somebody in your network could get onto some of these sites and post it. I'm posting it, and I live in Dundee, but I love this town, because I've gotten very fond of a lot of people in my stores, not just my stores, just, you know, a lot of you guys, so I just wanted to know why there are not people like yourself, or people that are involved with the gardens, that are not posting on some of these sites, beautiful pictures, photographs. If you need me to, I'll come out and take the pictures, but there's just a lot of, like, no knowledge out there. And Joe puts stuff out there all the time, thank you, Joe, and I've been doing it myself, but I just feel like there's like a lack of knowledge. And I feel like I'm postering the town with like all these silly little posters that I put up.
I think it's one thing that, I mean, I think that there's been quite a bit of, stuff coming from the Friends, and, they do post. I do see posts from, there is a Facebook page for the Friends of the Park.
But they're not
But I
putting
know
all the different.
it's, people are gonna see what they're gonna see, and they're gonna, you know, say, oh, I didn't know about that when it's been talked about for a long time. I mean, there's even a beautiful sign right there on the corner at Red Lizard that points community garden that way.
Well, there's actually
So-
3 signs, because there's the
Yeah.
ones that were on Morgan Street that have been relocated
Yeah.
over there, so. On Bridge Street, either way you go, you're gonna see signs of community garden.
Yeah.
If you go on Google Maps, you put in community garden, it pops right up, shows where it is,
How about this?
pictures
How
of it.
about this? How about next week? I'll bring my camera out and I'll take some pictures and I'll just post it.
Is there a way, what is your Facebook page called? Is it Sheridan?
Friends of Sheridan Park and Rec. Yeah.
There you go.
How about if
So
I just help you?
tell them,
How about
there's
I-
a webpage, it's Friends of the Sheridan.
Facebook page,
I
yeah.
just want you to know I've been trying, because people just don't seem to have the knowledge out there.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
can post it in my
I don't
window.
know, you
unless
know,
I'm-
in the bulletin board, we've had articles,
Yeah.
Liz has written up articles, and we're cross-post to various community
Yeah.
Facebook pages,
It's
so.
like me with my Saturday market, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it, I just wanna help you.
Yeah,
Let me know if I can, and I will,
yeah,
is there a time where I could meet you and we could take some pictures before the sun goes away?
yeah, and we need to update what the garden looks like
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
Let's do it.
yeah. so,
Alright, you and I get together with that.
Okay, very good,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very.
Alright, next on the agenda, approval of the minutes from our last meeting, so, if everyone's had a chance to read it. There was, I know Kay said she's got some corrections,
Yes.
so go ahead, Kay.
Okay, on page 1, where C, where it says, public comment period, and it's talking about Kale, and, it says committee member Buckles will reach out to George on behalf of the skate park. I remember this was Vivian said, I will contact him, so I don't remember it specifically being me. I remember Vivian saying that she would contact him.
Okay.
At least that's my memory, so. It could be fuzzy.
You got a pretty good memory.
Well, it's 50-50.
No, it's not.
Yeah, and then on, page 3. Again, this is just a, word thing. At the top of page 3B, and it's the second sentence down after, well, it says October, but it says they are raising,
Oh,
it should be
Racing.
racing. Again, I understand word, it tries to do stuff for you.
right.
And then C, Eagle Scouts, the Sheridan City Council gave the Eagle Scouts a grant to redo boxes. But isn't that supposed to be the city park and not South Park?
No, I think that is it should be notified, it's the bat
You're
boxes.
missing the word bat.
Yeah,
Ah.
so that's
But
what it
it's
was.
at the South Park
It
and
is the
not
one
the.
at the south side, yes.
I didn't even know they had bat boxes.
Yeah, they're kind of like over by the tree line and then
Okay.
along like
Alright.
the highway side of the
Okay.
pond.
Well, that was
Yeah.
all that I found, so
Okay.
minor.
Alrighty, so, does anybody wanna make a motion to approve as amended?
Go ahead,
I motion that we approve.
as amended.
Okay,
Second? Oh,
alright, all those in favor? Alright, any opposed? No, okay, approved as amended.
And the two people were Leisha and then,
It was Leisha first and Kay second.
I second my amendment. Oh,
We were competing.
Okay, alright, so we're gonna go ahead and go on to our subcommittee reports and next steps. Do we have any update for our CCARs?
was that Joe's subcommittee? Joe, was that your subcommittee?
Yeah, I think it was formally, but there's nothing to report.
Okay. Alright, Riverfront Park System.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and comment on that.
Okay.
Apparently, recently at the last city council meeting, Civil West put on a presentation regarding the Hebert Pavilion and in particular the walkway that they're looking at putting in between the two landings to connect river access to that pavilion, and then also the park area associated with that. So we got Morgan Street Park, Hebert Pavilion, and then on the other side of the bridge, Chester Moore Park. And it was probably about a 12-page presentation or something. It was kind of long.
do you need this, Ernie? I could tape it to the wall if you wanna talk to them about
Yeah,
anything.
it's kind of hard to see, but
Okay.
I was gonna hold it up or.
we did talk about this today in our subcommittee meeting. So basically, it shows a diagram of what we had originally proposed a few months ago, but it goes into much greater detail into the specifics and budget and everything else that, what it would cost to do this. It looks kind of funny, it's got a lot of green and red on it, but basically that's just to show areas where dirt would need to be removed, and because it's in the floodway, that dirt would have placed somewhere within that same parcel of property, so that's the green area on the plan. The K's.
Yeah.
Affixing to the wall.
Yes, this is from the Civil West. We just had it blown up so that today, when Ernie talked about it, we could ask questions.
Okay.
That's all. So I'll just take the living heck out of it because and Ernie can explain the red and green what that means, because that was our question. What's the difference between the red and green?
Yeah, so, because it is in a flood zone, and specifically a floodway, any dirt that is moved around, they have to have what they call a net zero effect on that topography. So again, the red areas, you'll see on the wall over there, on the left side, there's a big red area. That is where the launch and landing site is proposed. That's at the end of Morgan Street, which runs along that left border of that picture. And then the green area that you can see from here, that is part of the trail system. The left part of that green S-curve is going down to the landing area, and the right side is going under the bridge. That's the pathway under the pavilion and the bridge. And so you can see where all the red is, that's where they're gonna have to excavate. The green is where they would fill in. And if there is no color, then that's, meets the proper elevation for the pathway. And so there was some discussion we had today, Heidi and I were talking about Civil West's presentation where they were talking about, how that might look if the 106 building was not there, and how that might change things. But at this current point in time, the building is there and could be there for the foreseeable future. If something should happen, it's possible we could have an alternate plan for building a new retaining wall, which is what our initial project here talked about, because we couldn't use the existing wall in the 106 building because we don't know that.
Right. Yeah.
So obviously, if that changes, we could revamp that, re-engineer it to see what we might come up with as an alternative. But there was also, the talk about funding, current funding, and for both this project and the pavilion, and also for the future parking lot, which would be on Morgan Street to the lower left of that.
Orange area.
Yeah, that big white area down there, that's the nicely built.
Oh, right, yeah.
And the pavilion is just above that area. So that parking area actually could be almost equivalent to the parking lot by the select market,
Oh, yeah.
size-wise.
Do you know, Ernie, how many parking slots that might be? So are we talking like?
Well, what I did, I went to Google Earth and looked at the parking lot, because that's to scale on the select service side. You could overlay it on this area and get kind of an idea. But then when I talked with Tim about it, of course, he's got like, well, you gotta have so much setback for this, that, and the other thing, if you have traffic.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, so.
All right,
So that burns up some of the parking spots.
yes.
But we wanna utilize as much of that property back there as we can, so. We're talking with, some adjacent property owners too, as to, how that might look back there, because there's several stakeholders there that, border that parking lot. So anyway, that's what we had, most of our discussion about at today's meeting. I think yesterday, our last meeting, I should say Kay, I suggested that instead of having like 3 different documents that we were kind of tracking our projects on, we would take our action log and just convert it and come up with a new capital improvement log, which matches the one in the master plan. So when the time comes, we could just kind of insert this, but as we're looking forward, it looks like we're getting money that will possibly cover the cost of all of this project.
Wow.
And if that happens, then this would really come into play because we've already outlined everything, you know, what we would like to see in that development. And, we don't have, cost associated with it yet, until we get bids, but, we do have, as far as the foundation renovation and the pathway and the landing now, we do have dollar amounts for that. Was it me?
Trying to mute it, doesn't sound, which is next to
That's
it.
So I think, and we wrote a column for priorities on there, and, so as we get a little closer here to, finding out, what we're gonna settle on, it's gonna be too late this year to do anything in that area, because we're talking that area next to the river that gets pretty, soggy. But it does give us a prime opportunity between now and the end of the year to try to, get this kind of, solidified as to, you know, what we do and don't want, and to, try to get, the information that we need, the plans for it. Hopefully get that out to bid, so that, by late spring of next year, when things start, drying out a little bit, we can hopefully see construction starting this, which would be really wonderful. So that was, kind of the gist of what we talked about in our subcommittee meeting today, and then, were you gonna talk about the,
I was hoping you would.
oh, NPS? The National Park Services, we talked about that, you know, getting, their assistance in helping with the, YamCo River Access Project. And we had a Zoom meeting on that, yesterday, so it was a core team. So we have a steering committee that we've had for several months, trying to get it to the stage that it is now. You may recall that we had a community event, we had one here, one in McMinnville, Dayton, I think. So that committee is kind of, I don't know how you put it, at rest now, standing down. Until the, core team now, which is made of much smaller members, can, try to get, documents together that will help direct the steering committee in the near future. So, they gave us a recommended sites inventory, which by the way, I did get into the site, got access.
Oh, you did?
Download this. And, they've identified out of all of the different places that we had, about 11 sites that would be, I would say, more, like funded sites that we would be looking to get money to do whatever we need to do at each of those sites. And then there were some backup sites, I think 4 or 5 of those that, may not meet that criteria, but, communities have identified them as places that they would like to see additional access, but it would be more in a minority, kind of like a point of interest along the river versus one of these main sites. So, it's gonna be a matter of, trying to get, all of the characteristics of each one of these sites that we've identified so far, and try to determine, you know, who's got jurisdiction over these. We tried to make them mostly public areas versus private. Get a contact list, and looking at, maybe dividing it up for different sections of the river. So I suggested for our area, maybe the West Valley end, because there's a long stretch between us and McMinnville. There's Monroe Landing, halfway, then the McMinnville area, and Lafayette and Dayton. So there'd probably be like maybe 3, possibly 4 sections. And then we'd also be looking at the system-wide, process, you know. So you may not have to have restrooms at each and every one if you have closer proximity and start taking those things into account. And then filling out the document as to which each one would need, and, what the construction costs would be of those facilities. And I'm sure we'd probably prioritize those too, because some of these are county parks, which already have a lot of the facilities we need. So for those areas, it's really more of maybe working on the landing site, you know, with rock or something, so that the bank isn't getting into erosion, that they might already have parking and restrooms and, you know, all of that sort of thing. So at any rate, this is a start of a new part of this process. So the core committee is gonna be working on this, then we'll go back and, get the steering committees up and running again to start really moving forward with exactly, how we're gonna do that. And that's where the National Park Service comes in, because they got a lot of resources, people they can contact, tell us how to do things, how to set meetings up, how to get the grants and that sort of thing. And then as far as how long, everybody asks, well, how long will this be? And it really kind of depends, the way it's set up and some of the sites we selected, some of this could happen relatively quickly. There's not a lot of permitting that needs to be, it's just a matter of getting some basic things set up or, improving some of the local infrastructure. Dayton's already working on their boat ramp now through the county, they've been doing that. And then other areas where you're gonna have to get down and dig into the bank, into the river, that's where you might be in a 3 to 5 year period. But, the National Park Service, their intent is to try to, where they can, help guide us through the red tape and make maybe a 10-year project, more like a 5-year project hopefully or something, but we'll see as we move on, but that's kind of the help we're expecting for them. They're not gonna just come in and take it over and do it for us, unfortunately.
No, that sounds good.
Just so you know. So anyway, that's kind of a nutshell, what's going on with that project. And that ties in with our Riverfront project, obviously, because that's one of the sites, so.
Thank you.
Works great.
Yeah.
That sounds like.
And by the way, Heidi is, she's been selected to run this for the, YamCo River Access Program, so she's coordinating it on the
Thank
site,
you.
Yeah, thank you, Heidi.
Well,
right?
Ernie's gonna help me. But yes, I would say Heidi, co-chair Ernie. Yes, Ernie and I got this.
Oh, that's
And
exciting.
I don't know if you had anything else to add on it, or?
Yeah, you shared really good information. One of the things that I've been concerned about the whole time is, making sure that everybody continues to have conversations throughout the river system, system-wide, right? Like, so we in Sheridan maybe continue to offer this and we support it, but how do we know that the other sites that we're sending downstream are going to put the same effort into it? Because without them, ours won't be as successful.
Right.
So that's one of the things that the National Parks staff can do, is they can help, do the coordination in the beginning, put together an actual plan and have those conversations and help tell us which sites they think are more viable to have like a long lasting relationship, like who really does have the support network to keep this going. So that's one of the things that I'm very happy to have them to look at and to.
So an outreach, and if you need an outreach toward my area, just,
Yeah, I don't know.
you know,
What's in your area, but that's why it's
Well,
nice to
Dayton.
have the national park system. No, I don't remember who, but they have a person necessarily, but, one of the things that, they're
person
working
to
on
person and outreach and
is getting the,
networking and all about that, so.
yeah, that was all during the steering committee, but now there's like a core group and now they've added to that core group of the individuals that did a good job representing those, for those different things. And, yeah,
Are you suggesting like Tualatin River Keepers? Would there be such an organization called Yamhill River Keepers?
so you're jumping to what we're hoping to find.
Okay, alright.
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
the recommendations that'll come out of the plan. That's what the national parks people do, is they will, that's what's trying, is, wait, you asked a question,
No,
it's
I
about
we're
finding
trying
their, yeah, but there's something. Anyways, and then the ultimate goal is for them to put together a plan, and what's good about that plan is that it can be used for funding. No grantors really want to give into something that is not put together at a system wide and
Right.
has the commitment, right? They don't want their funds to just be dumped in the river. So that's, what it's really nice to have that time, that energy, and that professional, view of the project, and the gifts, the talents, the education that they have. One of them, what was Bree, is she a landscape? I think Bree was like a landscape person too, one of the national parks people. They each have these different skill sets that are really nice to have, so. Yeah.
Yeah, they had 3, I only met 2 of those people before, I think.
There's two, yeah, and then they have people
Yeah.
that are staffers that we
Yeah.
have. Okay, that's all for that.
Alright. Then we can go ahead and go on to skate park. So,
Okay, I'm wondering, if, Heidi, there's a way to make the skate park more, how we can tie in maybe a counselor, cause sometimes for subcommittees, the city considers, oh, counselor A will help form the group and make it more sustainable. And, one of the things I was thinking, gosh, counselor, Houston, Ian, has, construction in his background. Would it be, would there be an option where he could help us form a little better connection in getting bids and things like that? That, I'm just, brainstorming.
That is a question for the mayor, he is in charge
Okay.
of directing the council,
Okay.
not me.
Yeah, okay,
So,
okay.
yes, but I
I'm
can
just-
relay the message to the mayor.
Well, is there any other ideas? How do we, cause we need bids, but
Yeah.
we need the city to kinda,
You have to put together,
yeah,
the skate park group really needs to put together an idea. It's hard to get bids if you don't tell people what you're looking for.
right.
So if you don't know what you're looking for or hoping to achieve, then you can't you don't know what the price is. So like, are you really hoping to, it sounds like you're hoping for people, for a whole different thing besides bids. You're hoping for design.
well, actually,
You're hoping
no,
for somebody to
part
come
of the
and
bid
see.
process would be that design element, like the company, No.
That's a separate thing.
it's a separate
Yeah,
thing.
you have to get a design company to give you a design, and then you can get a contractor to give you a.
Well, I guess we were lucky, cause the one gentleman that did submit the bid, his company, he did his design, and he gave us a rough, quote. It wasn't official, but, and he had a nice design, but unfortunately, the price was, wow, it was like $100,000.
That's how much it's gonna be.
Okay.
That's
But
the going
again,
cost for parking.
yeah, I know, but if the requirement is the city needs 3 bids,
You've
we're-
had 2 or 3 people come in.
I only heard of 2, or, I'm sorry, 1. But I missed the last meeting, I was not in town.
I thought that you guys had 2 people you've reached out to or something.
Well,
Dream-
again, I
did you
see
have
in the
Dreamland?
notes, Barry's left.
Dreamland,
They-
or White Lincoln?
They talked to Knife River, maybe.
I think that there's a lot going on, so I would
Okay.
think the best thing would be for me to probably come to your next skate park meeting. When is it?
I have no idea. Again, I missed the last meeting in, whenever it was in August, I was out of town, and,
Yeah, so I know that Andrew had, so Mayor Kale had given the Knife River, application to get some concrete donated. He found that, and I passed it on to the skate park group. And then the other thing is that we found, I think that Andrew had found a connection at the tribe, when he was talking, right? Yes, the tribe, and he thought that he could get some financial help through that source. So what really just needs to happen is somebody needs to, since you need to figure out what kind of a design you want. So do you wanna go in and do you just wanna rehab what's there? Or do you wanna go in and do some different stuff in there, right? Like, I know nothing about skateboards except that they have 4 wheels and a board, like.
Right,
I'm
right.
Yeah.
not your lady. So what I think you're trying to do is to find people who have knowledge and who have been using the skate park. And so your subcommittee probably could also like have a public engagement over there at the park where people are thinking, you're talking to people that are using that and are skateboard enthusiasts and know what they want. So I think that's
but
another way to practice.
how do we know that the company that's going to supply a bid or whatever is somebody that might be on the city's approved list?
We don't
Is
have
there
a
an
city-
approved list?
No.
No.
Okay.
So,
Could be
You
anybody
just have to
that's-
have insurance.
Insurance.
And, to pressure with the city, but there's no city approved list for
okay,
purchasers.
just
for skate
checking
parks.
to see if there was any approved you know, okay. So again, we have to figure out when the next meeting is, and again, I'm not sure because Vivian and Paul are in flux, so to speak. But I can, attend their next, Friends of the City Park, meeting. That's scheduled, I think, the Monday, the 22nd. Yeah, so,
What's my second coming up there?
That's fall cleanup day is the 26th.
No, that's October,
am I talking, let me look here.
fall cleanup day is October 26th. Did
Okay.
they say on here when the next?
I
I
have
didn't
it,
write down a date, but I did.
I believe I have it in my, thing here, I'm looking at
Okay,
September. Cause I attended the last one. Oh, actually, their meeting is Friday, October 25th,
Oh, okay.
and it's at 2:00 at Paul and Vivian's house. So,
How much it sells?
yes, I think.
Right,
Well, except again,
It was a joke.
yeah, I know, unfortunately, their latest, one fell through, so it takes a while.
yeah, okay.
So,
So Kay, it might be a good idea, I know the guys that own Momentum Surf Company over at Pacific City,
mhm,
and they are the ones that sort of facilitated Pacific City's new skate park.
mhm,
And it might be a really good, if we could get a hold of them for you guys,
uh-huh,
and just to get some insight of what it's really gonna take, or what a realistic expectation would be,
mhm.
and, you know, how they went about it. You know, there's no reason to reinvent the wheel if somebody just did it literally last year.
No, the issue is that it's never been maintained, so.
Correct, what I'm
yeah.
saying is, you're trying to make a new park, or redo the park, or the park is gonna get redone.
Yes,
And you are looking for answers, and
Mhm.
someone else has just done this in a small community less than 1 year ago.
okay,
And I know the guys that headed that up,
okay,
and so it would be a really good idea. I would give you their contact information,
okay,
and you could reach out to them and, you know, pick their brain, because you're trying to reinvent the wheel, you don't need to.
yeah,
But if somebody's done it already,
okay,
it's the equivalent of saying, you know, get Counselor Ian to help out with construction, you know, the guy knows construction. So you're gonna lean on somebody's knowledge, and if somebody just went through this process less than a year ago and fully funded it in a year and built it, seems like something you should probably reach out to.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so, you know, obviously none of us are skate park experts.
well, and again, I don't, feel comfortable talking about it, cause that's not my yeah.
I don't think that it needs to be a technical as much as a, hey, who did you talk to?
Oh, okay,
And get a conversation started is
Got it.
what I'm saying.
and truth, if it was
And-
me, I would invite them over, come walk around the skate park and look at it,
I
right?
think it would be better for us to go there, or someone to go there, your committee to go there and look at their skate park rather than look at ours. And
See
say,
what they've
so
done.
that you can say, oh, how did you do this, or what was your idea behind this, and how is this received? Because we're trying to build something that kids are gonna wanna use,
Mm-hmm,
and if, I'm not saying bad, terrible things here, but I don't think that our group here is probably the persons to make decisions of what the skate park should look like,
right.
because none of us are gonna go jump on a skateboard.
Well, and that's why Andrew, who is, again, I mean, he grew up here, he no longer lives here, and he did a lot, and he still does skate.
I
Yeah.
skate as well,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is, if you get someone who recently just did it
Uh-huh,
and has
Yeah,
ideas and
uh-huh.
can tell you what has been received, what the reception from
mm-hmm,
the locals in Pacific City and the visitors of Pacific City have done,
mm-hmm,
I think we would be 10 steps ahead of where we're at currently.
right,
There's no reason to go, oh yeah, hey, I wanna make a whirly gig over here,
right,
cause I think that's gonna look cute to
So
make it look
maybe-
like carousel.
Maybe marry Ian and family.
Yeah.
Sons who skate.
Sure, absolutely, I just think,
Yes.
I'll get you the contact.
that would be
information.
great,
And just to start the conversation, I
You
think
bet.
it's gonna be
and
a
again,
huge
Great idea.
I'll
jump ahead for us.
yes, I will take it to the skate park group,
Sure,
and we'll figure out a game plan.
yeah, I you
We
know,
appreciate
they're-
all
they're great-
information.
They're great guys, and it's
Yeah.
just, it doesn't seem like an hour Zoom call or
Well,
whatever.
I think Pacific City's done so much lately, as a
Well, when you
small
ask,
town, which has got a lot going on.
Mhm.
That is a good example for a small town like us.
correct.
Yeah, it's just, again, the Friends, feel overwhelmed because it is hard to go fund something if you don't have a plan, which is many of these grants say, what's your plan?
Yeah.
And there's no plan yet,
By the
and we don't even have a cost.
according to Winnie the Pooh, it's best before starting a journey. It's best to know where
Where
you're
you're
going.
going,
Yeah.
And you know when to
yes.
stop when you get there.
I'm all for
Right.
Winnie the Pooh, yes.
Yep.
And yes, there's no reason to start some journey and not know where you're gonna
Yeah,
stop.
yeah,
So,
it ends up nowhere if you don't.
correct.
Yeah.
That's all I was trying to get across.
Okay, well, thank you, appreciate that.
Okay. Alright, on to the dog park updates.
Should we ask Sandy to, do you,
Yeah,
Do you
Sandy,
want-
you probably got the most, you
I-
weren't there,
So
but,
we have the
yeah.
fencing and the gates, and we were just looking for time to start, putting them in. So I believe next week we are gonna start laying out the design on the ground, so we know where they're drilling the post holes.
and we're talking Jefferson Street,
Yes,
yeah,
okay,
okay,
okay.
so that,
so that will be at least starting,
okay,
or working on it.
Yeah, we haven't had very much of a meeting, so we don't really have any notes to go over because everything
And
was
the
at the meeting.
providers are gonna be there when we get everything done. That's been discussed with David, is his name?
Yeah, so David's got the plans all lined out for us. The ground is being leveled, we just don't it's just kind of waiting on the weather and everything. We need to make sure we have the irrigation. It's just the weather's kind of, and these guys have been so busy working on the South Park
Yeah.
that they just have not been
They're
able
in two
to do
places.
everything at Jefferson that they could have, because you can't be two places at once.
No, that's understandable.
And so that's kind of where we're at, we just,
yeah, okay.
Have you guys thought about having a work group? Cause we have
Yes.
people that come in and
Yes.
they just say, hey, I need to help dig the
We've
post holes.
totally been thinking about that,
So I
but we're not there yet because the ground has to be leveled. We've gotta there's just so many things that have to be done at South Park before they can step there
Yeah.
for us to gather that.
Need to clean, kind of, spray the weeds again, cause that, what is it, Queen's Anne, that
Oh,
lacy
the
stuff.
Queen's Anne
Lace
lace,
is
yeah.
coming back with a vengeance
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and,
So once you get the ground cleared though, I think that it's perfectly fine to have a work group where you're having people even put in the fences.
We would love to have a work group.
I think you should start to work on that, like, picking
Absolutely.
a day, and a time and that kind of thing, and then I'll work with the public works to understand, how they
That's-
can get that.
That's the thing, we have to
Level
work with
out.
Public Works to figure out the dates for that. And I am in the works of, maybe doing a calendar.
That's easier, I think, to level out than to find all the time to put in the
Right.
fencing and put in the everything else. So if you were able to have, and we do, I'm sure at your store, you hear people that wanna help. just
Oh,
to
I
get
do,
it
I
right.
do.
I know, but I'm a little concerned that if it's just volunteers putting up a fence, it won't be straight and it won't be,
Yeah, you'll be surprised. There's
Okay.
really great volunteers that come
All
out to
right.
do lots of things, lots
Okay.
of people with great skill sets
Okay.
show up to work parties. So you just kinda have to have a plan, which I've seen you guys have in place. And so you just,
We're waiting on Public Works to be able to get
lay it out,
Time.
put some
for us to lay it out.
little
Yeah.
stakes in the ground where you guys want it, and there's lots of people that are willing
Okay.
to
all right.
help.
I will
Really.
plug the next, dog park meeting is scheduled for October
I'm excited.
22nd at 1:30 here.
At what time? October
Right.
is.
Joe's best hands
At
up.
1:30.
Yes. Yes.
Can I interject here for a second? About your concerns about volunteers, have any of you heard of the organization called Fences for Fido?
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, yes, actually, yeah. Heard about that.
they put
Yeah,
the,
they-
yeah, they do put fencing up. But we have fencing, we just need help.
Heard about
But
that.
they
Yeah,
do,
usually do, they usually do private residences for people that they can't keep their dogs contained or whatever. I've worked with them in the past, but they are primarily volunteer run, and they may be somebody to reach out to because they have a Rolodex, showing my age, of people that are willing to volunteer for things that benefit dogs and of that sort. And usually, I've worked a couple jobs with them, and there'll be 30 people out there, and literally 2 of them know what they're doing. With the right supervision, wholeheartedly volunteers can come and knock things out phenomenally and do a tremendous job. I think it's something that you shouldn't, I like the volunteer idea. There are a lot of people with dogs in this community and a lot of people that would love to help. And as long as you have the right supervision, volunteer help is sometimes better than paid help.
Yep, find, like, just what I was envisioning,
Okay.
find 2 people that know how to do fencing.
That's all we need, yes,
Lots of people can run a shop.
as long as we're not out there,
It's like lots of people can run a shop.
not knowing what to do, because we need the
I think
expertise.
there's lots of people in this community that know how to build a fence.
Okay, a chain link fence and, yeah.
We're trying to do
What
it
time is the
before
meeting again?
well,
The
So-
meeting is, at 1:30
Okay.
here at City Hall, and it's October 22nd, which is a Tuesday.
Joe, maybe you could reach out to your motorcycle group too. And see if you guys, sometimes motorcycle groups will help
Strong
get
man.
involved
Right.
with the
And
agenda that's gonna meet.
But again,
kids like
I know of a couple crossover groups that do things for dogs and motorcycles at the same time. And I could I could look into that and see what I can do. I can't make any promises. Sometimes motorcycle people are kind of on their own page, but I can definitely look into what we can work out.
Okay. Alright. Anything else on that, or we going?
just on a fun note, I'm gonna do a calendar, nonprofit for the dog parks. My friend that's a professional photographer is helping me. We're gonna do men around town and the dogs. Brad's gonna be Mr. January, and it's not a naked calendar, just so you know. It's fully clothed with your dog, and it's gonna be like Brad's got 2 dogs. If you guys wanna be in the calendar, hello, let me know.
Brian has 2 big dogs.
Alright.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, just saying.
He's lived in Sheridan
I
for
wanted-
like
I
20
wanted-
years.
We're gonna sell it really very inexpensively. I'll put it together with a little help from Marianne and a couple other people that I happen to know that are really good at this. And we're gonna just do it for nonprofit and help support the dog parks. And I'm just putting this for January, when we start. So-
My dog may or may not have peed in your parking lot last week.
Well,
But I bought lumber from you, so that counts.
okay, that
There you
counts.
go.
So you look me up, maybe not, but before January. I wanna take a picture with the dog or dogs, and I'm serious, just for fun.
Sure.
Men and dogs around town. So, people, dogs and guys around town.
Okay.
I think it'd be fun.
Well, I think it's funny to say men around town. I don't know why.
Well, I've got to get the wording
Men
down.
and dogs and-
Yeah.
Wording down, not Lucy's wording.
Yeah.
Sheridan's,
Moving along.
alrighty.
Our guys and their dogs, I don't know, we're coming up with it,
All
just
right.
think about it.
The YamCo Parks and Rec.
Oh, well, Megan can't make it this evening. She has her mom in town, actually, which is
Oh,
really
okay.
nice for her. Yeah, and so she gave me this, it's all in front of you.
okay,
They want you to take this survey, and they want as many people as possible to take this survey.
okay.
But, yeah, there's part of us, we're all part of the YamCo County Park System, and so they're working on their new park plan, and they wanna hear from people. Lucy, will you put one in your window? Thank you.
I'll take this
So
and
you
I'll
wanna
put
put
this
this
up
on
at
the
work.
plate somewhere? That'd be great, thank you.
Okay.
And I already gave you one, right? Cool. Alicia, maybe you can have 2 for each store.
Absolutely.
Okay, so, handout. Is that better? Survey. What's next? That's all for that.
Alright.
Oh, the big guy.
Southside Park. I have not had a chance to go over there yet and take a look at all the improvements. The last thing I've noticed was some pictures that were put up with I think the, bathroom being finally put up, and the parking lot paved, and that's the last I've seen, the last update I've seen, so, and the trail around being paved, so that's the last update I saw.
That's the update as of Tuesday.
Ah, okay.
So a question, we had a question meeting today. How far along is it to take a walk? We kind of want it to be posted. How many miles are we taking, a quarter-mile walk, a 30-mile walk?
That's
I
all
mean-
coming.
Oh, yeah.
There's signage built into the grid
Excellent.
for some of that, but
Excellent, because we want to know how many paces are we taking with our dog?
Yeah,
there's even signage that we have coming about the health benefits of like
Yay.
what it is to walk and stuff.
Excellent.
Benches to be installed, but all this stuff is still a year out, so we still have a year out to go. But Sandy has been working her rear off, and she has the most impressive binder anybody on earth has ever made and ever seen. And so she keeps really close track of the whole project, and she deserves a huge round of applause for Sandy. She's worked super duper hard, and she keeps everybody coordinated, and she has the love for it. Sandy was here the first time when the park kind of got set up, and so I think without further ado, Sandy, wanna come on up, give your spiel?
So I tried to make,
You gotta
Copies,
use, I know it's
but
not your thing,
the-
but you gotta use the mic.
the copier is out of toner.
oh no.
So I got 3 copies made. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys can.
Yeah, we got it.
Is it the readout that was online?
Yeah.
I read it, I'm good,
Did
so
I
if
miss
no one else
anybody?
missed it.
I didn't get to see the picture. There's pictures,
Am I
right?
walking it on?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, just don't trip on any cords or whatever.
They're small IDs, I think.
Thank you.
Oh, my God.
We'll share, how's that? I just wanna look at the
them again?
pictures.
Thank you.
I have a question. I have a question.
Go ahead, Jim.
These materials that are being handed out, is there any way I can request a stack that I could send somebody to pick up so that I can look at them, tomorrow?
They're in the email that went out.
He
Not all.
might be newer, and I might not have had his email,
No,
but
I
do
think-
now.
No, I think did Omega send it?
No.
I think it was in Omega's.
You sent it,
I sent it.
but did you send it to?
So you just gave me an updated copy of all the emails, the ones I had, I don't think had everybody in them.
Well, he would have been.
I was on it, and
before him. I mean, he was after him, so Joe.
By 7 minutes.
and
Either
then-
way, I will make sure you get,
Yes,
It's
we
sent
will,
to you.
we will definitely make sure you get it sent to you, but it could very well be in your email already, perhaps.
Oh, okay, I will take a look.
But Sandy can do that tomorrow. She'll
I can do that.
Yep, thank you, Sandy.
So I would just like to ask that you guys consider, naming Southside Park, I know it's gonna get renamed Hinchcliffe Memorial Park, because without Lonnie, he's that park was his brainchild.
Was he,
It was his idea of what to do with that land, is making a fishing park for the community and, for the kids.
and he was the director of Public Works?
Yes,
Oh, I did not know that.
yes,
Thank you, I'm sorry to interrupt.
absolutely. No, that's fine, I just,
His vision was, so what Sandy shared with me, which I think is really great, is that, Lonnie did all this work, he did all this effort to get things going, and then there's been a lull in time, and then Sandy worked with him side by side to do some of that work and the planning piece of it, and then she's able to come back and she's able to.
and see it finished.
Right.
It's amazing to see what it looks like
Yeah.
today.
It's beautiful. I'm just really excited that there's a water bottle refill.
It is amazing to see it like it is right now, because it makes it look so much bigger.
And so we went last
Anyways,
night.
I'm just asking to consider that name.
And so, we have, I don't know if I shared this with you, one time, a while back, we received, I think, about 8 pages of recommendations from Susan Chamberlain for possible names too. So eventually, this group is going to figure out how they're gonna go about the process of naming it. So whether it be from what they already have, or whether it be they have a pick 5 and have a naming thing, or whether they just say we can't decide, we're giving this to the city council.
Yeah.
So,
and tired, for sure, but he's done a lot of things for the city and have very much, long-term outlooks to try to make it nice for the city and for the
Yeah.
residents, so.
Well, then he was a visionary, absolutely, do that, wow.
Does anybody have any other questions for Sandy about,
Southside or anything, I guess.
well, I think Brian wants to give a report on disc golf, but any other?
I just wanna make a quick comment, I went out there today and walked around, but I stopped to talk to a young mom and her two, well, the little kids were playing so much, but I asked her, do they enjoy it, and she said, it is the best playground ever. The kids just love it, so again, compliments, from a mom there that said it's great. And I noticed two of the Delphian school vans were there and it looked like they were having a picnic, so, great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, great job, Sandy. One of the things that I, see a lot myself over there is people come for their lunch break, which I think is really nice that be working at work, you know, or whatever, and then there's such a close place for people to go and get some fresh air, you know, it's a real quick, go over there.
Look at something a little further away.
Yeah, it feels like you've gone, you
Yeah.
know, out of the office, right, so to speak, or out of the work area. We went over there last night let our kids go on a bike and a scooter, and we have a great time. Sandy has reminded me about the importance of making sure that people do not interfere with the straw because it is holding down the grass seed. And so that was a lot of work for them to do that, even that part of it. And so, she's concerned that, somebody will not realize that it has a purpose. And so don't like kick it around and stuff. But she has some signs out there, but, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, so well done, great place for kids to ride their bikes safely too, little ones.
Awesome.
Next
Yeah,
things to come, Brian, I think you're good.
Bum, bum, bum. So disc golf park. Originally, earlier this year, we went out and we set up a layout. Here, you were there one day.
Yeah.
Sure. But we set up a preliminary layout, course layout, and then we went back out a couple more times, tweaked it out, and actually staked it, made it fun, and brought some temporary baskets, played a couple rounds. It was really great. And then when the improvements went in, we didn't, the plan for the improvements of what's happened there with the restrooms and the RV side and the parking situation, the big oak tree that I love, that we lost a branch on, that's pivotal to one hole. The whole course needs relayed out now. As it's the way that we had it set up will not work with the new parking. It's not gonna work, which is fine. Disc golf is designed to fit in to where it's at. It's not the end of the world. Just need to go out there. So, jumping ahead, skipping back. Next week, I want to try to get a group together, community members, whoever wants to go. I'm just gonna talk to some people. I know the guys down at the end of Sheridan Road that put a couple baskets in, and just try to get a few people out there to actually get a little bit more input of how to set up the course. Beyond the skate park where we none of us have expertise. As far as disc golf, I'm a pretty avid disc golfer, so it kind of helps. But this is my car if you want to play. But we are going to clean up going east. So there's the parking area. There's the orchard. I don't know if you guys know the orchard. That's my favorite part of Sheridan. Not gonna lie. I love that little orchard. I don't know if I could buy it, I would. But then beyond going east, the park extends all the way down behind the settling ponds. I mean, it's out there.
I saw the roadway that looked like it cut through that. Are you talking that way?
I don't know where he's.
No, I'm talking along the fence of the prison
Oh, friends of the prison,
and
okay,
heading east.
got it, okay.
Back in that corner, there's a little bowl, for lack of a better term.
Yes,
That has a lot of underbrush and just scrubby garbage. not dropping trees, but making it usable. So, you know, if there's something that's garbage, get it out of there now before it's more problematic. But there's a lot of undergrowth. If you go out there, there's blackberries that are 12, 20, 30 feet high. I mean, I wouldn't want to see it to prison. But, so that's going to get cleaned up. And then we're going to run the course. Originally, we are going to run the 9 holes real close to the pond. And the way that the pavement worked out and the restrooms worked out, everything kind of worked out. My thought is shoot further east, so we've got the front 9. It's same as ball golf, so there's 18 holes split up into 9. So run the first 9 out, and then kind of come back and maybe in somewhere by the pond, and then the back 9, or so the hole 10 would start there again somewhere in the orchard, and then go back out and come back in.
Yeah, as long as, because it seems to me our dog park is sort of close
again,
to. Yeah.
Disc golf is not something that requires, that is going to interfere with anything.
Yeah.
Disc golf is designed to blend in.
Right.
It's not ball golf. We don't need a fairway. That's not a thing.
Not a fenced in.
When
We
went out there, we had Kai out there with the city, with Public Works, and Kai comes from a golf course background, and he was like, okay, so I need to get out here, and we're gonna have to till this out and make it flat, we're gonna have to replant grass seed, we need to do this, we're gonna have to put in, and we're like, no. Like, really, when you're playing disc golf, you kinda wanna be miserable.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain, but misery is part of the game. And so it's going to play out and then play back in, because you need not everybody's got 2 hours to blow to play disc golf.
Sure.
But I can speak from experience in McMinnville, at Markham Park there's a course I played every single Sunday, and there are 2 guys that work at Megan across the street, and 5 days a week they play at lunch.
Oh wow, yeah.
Because you can play a quick round if you're fast. You can play a quick round in 12 holes there. You can play it in 40 minutes, 35 minutes. Yes, ma'am.
The one I'm used to is in Newburgh.
The Newburgh Bowl, the hateful course.
Is it hateful?
Well, which course in Newburgh? There's
Well,
2.
I'm talking about, it's the one
There's
that,
Herbert Hoover that's right by
that's what I'm
99.
talking about,
That's the bowl.
that's
the
the one I
hateful course.
watch.
And then there's another course, if you follow out the railroad tracks to that
No,
park.
I'm talking about it.
But if you follow the railroad tracks out, you go past the RC park that's there. There's another disc golf park out there.
I'm talking about watching.
Yeah, Herbert Hoover's the one
pit.
that's right there by
I
there.
call it the pit.
Yeah, it's the pit, and it's
And I watch dogs run, and
absolutely.
I watch, it doesn't, it seems to intermingle pretty well.
It is not a
Right? Heidi?
correct. Yeah,
I think so.
when you're out at Shampooey Park, there's 36 holes out at Shampooey, and you never really know.
That's the other thing I've seen.
Milo Park, you know,
Yeah.
you can go out there.
It seems pretty
You never
natural.
even know. The one they put in the Grand Ronde, that's
Right.
all around the rodeo, or
I don't agree with
whatever
that.
they call it out there.
No,
But it blends in.
yeah,
It's-
the dog park would be fenced in. That's my only.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all.
And but it's not something that, oh look, your dog park's here and you can't have disc golf anywhere near the golf ball. That's
No,
not how it is.
I'm not. Yeah, I just don't want us to be. Your plan goes through the dog park.
Dog park can't move.
fenced.
Disc
Yeah.
disc golf can move.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's all.
It is very fluid.
Yeah.
8 of the 18 baskets are assembled. Or 8 of the 19 baskets are assembled. There's been brainstorming of putting one basket over at City Park, kind of over in the corner, away from the skate park, towards the baseball field-ish, sort of, by the parking lot, so that when you get out of the car, you can see a disc golf, maybe put some sign that says, hey, go on over across the road to the formerly named Southside Park, to go play around. There's been talks of, and I've in discussions with a couple of disc golf shop owners, of donating some used discs or new discs and having a checkout bag. I haven't talked to the library yet. That's where I'd like to have them stored, so that you can just go over, same as renting a book, you can go over and check out a set of discs. you know, you wanna make it accessible as possible. Disc golf is pretty darn cheap if you want it to be, it's really expensive if you want it to be.
Yeah.
Heidi's husband can talk about that. Who I go disc golfing with every Sunday. So yeah, that's it, is the disc golf park is going, but we need to change the layout, and I'd like to get some input, and I think next week would be a good time to kind of get some people together and just, you know, anybody wants to go out, hang out there, have a soda pop, walk around and go, yeah, I wanna throw a piece of plastic here. We shouldn't throw a piece of plastic here.
Right, do you want, like, people to give you their phone numbers, or we can collect phone numbers or emails at City Hall too.
Sure, I mean, whichever's easiest.
Okay, yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah, cause I remember that our initial walkabout was in June, so we did that June 26th. Cause I was looking back at some posts and it was June 26th of last summer.
Yeah.
So it's been a year, and then I, like, somebody else had, commented on the community page back in March asking about, you know, does anybody know if they're putting a disc golf course out at the fish pond? You know, and so I commented, I said, yes, there is, and we're working on it, and more information is to come, so.
Correct, and again, you know, there are some things that we're gonna need public works with, like pouring concrete. But
I don't think so, actually, I think that Oscar has a plan for all that. So. he has
again,
like
I'll be a
layer-
monkey with a shovel,
There's like a
because
layer
if somebody
crew
knows
from
what they're
that-
doing, they point, I can dig.
The Sunday disc golf crew at a different park is offering to help, but not on Sunday because they have their tournaments.
Yeah. That's good.
Anyways,
Today I learned.
Before we leave the South Park, I would like to make a motion on the naming, that if we could get that back on the next agenda, and, you know, cause the South Park is, you know, pretty close to being completed,
Yeah.
and it'd be nice to, you know, have the
Heidi's
name
like, no.
kinda submitted to the council for them to make a decision, and,
I think there's, I'm not negative Nancy, but I'm negative Nancy, I'm
Okay.
always negative Nancy. I'm a procurement, I am a supply chain manager for a living, that's what I do. Renaming the park is great, but you know, you're gonna need signage, and so and the Parks Committee, as everybody knows, doesn't have a whole bunch of money. So we're gonna have to find out somebody, you know, if we rename a park,
well, that's
We
why,
gotta be able to do the sign.
again, it goes to the council,
council can,
and
you know,
they
fine,
figure
but
out,
there's a budget somewhere, and
Yes.
it's not in
I
the budget,
think-
I've seen the budget.
Okay, cause I thought there was
maybe next summer.
something in the budget for the Southside Park for
it should be.
signage and stuff.
Yeah, it should
but
be under the
I-
grant, actually, right?
Yeah.
Is signage, no,
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 but
Like there's like a disc golf sign,
no,
but I
we're
mean
talking,
like signage for like.
I
parks
understand,
and-
I was trying to say
Oh.
what signs are, there was
Right.
funding for.
oh,
There's small signs of like,
Right.
this is hole 1 for disc golf or
But
whatever,
that
disc
part
golf.
And there's
yourself.
And
a
for the
sign for
walking
the dog park,
and dog parks, but the actual like, you know,
there was never,
welcome to Sheridan sign, I'm just
Right.
saying.
yeah, I get
the-
you,
the-
sure,
there was never
sign
even
there.
a grant for renaming.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So that'll
I
have to be considered.
I do like the idea of going ahead and getting ahead and looking at all of these suggestions that we've been given for renaming and trying to get to narrow down maybe to our top 3 and then you know, proposing, you know, which one that we all prefer, and if we need to put it out for a vote to anybody that would want to put their input, so that would give time for that when everything is completed, which I think you said something about next year, Heidi.
Yeah.
So that gives us time to also figure out how we're gonna get the new signage.
Yes, to pay
So
for
if
it,
we can do it, if we can, you know, be proactive and get started on that now, what we'll have by the time we are able to do a grand dedication ceremony or whatever we wanna call it, we have everything set in place and we already have the name, and we can also hopefully have the signage at that point in a year from now.
Absolutely. My question, Heidi, is with renaming the park, and I'm not being negative about this, I don't wanna do this. But would renaming the park affect your grants at all?
I don't think so, that's an interesting question, I will just.
Like if your grants are written for Southside Park and we rename it to, after Lonnie, for example, would that affect your grants?
I don't think
Or
so.
do you have to reapply, or, refile them,
No, I don't think so. I have a very good working relationship with the park guy, what is he called, the state park grant guy, I have many years, so.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
just my
he would
question,
just give a heads up, but
I just don't wanna shoot ourselves in the foot and say, rename it, which would be great.
it is all in the,
And, cause Southside Park's kind of a old, kind of a dorky name.
it is
a
in
dorky
the,
name.
it's in, all of the, what I would say, the online reporting system, it does call it Southside Park, so.
Okay, that be just maybe a
Footnote at
parentheses.
the bottom.
Yeah, thank you.
Well,
Footnote,
Yeah,
If you just do it like a ribbon cutting after we've settled out the grant,
Right.
that's another
Yeah, that's-
thing too, and then
yeah.
it really doesn't matter because the grant's closed out and it's all done by a tax lot map, tax lot numbers and map numbers and all that stuff, so.
Yeah.
It does have an address, but it's formally done through the property tax law number.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I
Thank
think
you.
that's a good idea.
It's still gonna be the Southside Park, it just needs to not be called the Southside Park, it needs to be.
Correct, you need
The
something,
Southside
they need something
Park.
geographical, it's kind of
Yeah.
silly,
It's the
I used to live
West Coast.
I used to live on West Avenue South, and I always hated that
You know
address.
what I mean?
And the cross section was South Avenue West, and I
It's
always
against
hated, like, just name it something.
Stop doing
Right.
that.
Alright, okay, so now we're down to the last, would be our beautiful city park. Is that you, Heidi?
I don't know if we have much to report there. I was hoping that Coach Sarah would be on to discuss about, picnic tables. But
Yeah.
let's just move that to the next month.
I won't,
Because
I was there today and nothing's been done to the picnic
Okay,
table.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I know,
Oh,
so
I'm
but
sorry,
she wanted to talk more about it, and
oh.
so,
Okay.
I apologize.
that's okay, yeah, I know nothing's been done,
Okay.
because we have to move them over. And so Sarah has tried to, several times we've tried to coordinate that with her, but once again, we just have to be able to have, the public works staff to be able to move them over to where she needs when she's available, so
Right.
essentially, it's just a coordination that needs to be done.
Is now an okay time to make a comment about the city park?
Sure.
Okay, I did notice the grills over there, people are using that for a cigarette butt.
Oh, gosh.
They're putting their cigarettes out in it, and in both of them. And it looks kinda disgusting. So, but I will tell you a positive note. One of my fellow dog walkers said, I went over to the city park earlier in the day and I had to go to the bathroom and I was sure the bathrooms were gonna be locked and they weren't, and they were clean, and he was amazed. And I said, that is awesome news to hear. So somebody, see, we're getting the positive,
Yeah.
so.
Well, at least we're not throwing them on the ground.
Yeah, that's true,
You know,
but it's pretty, it's
That's
pretty
still,
sad.
yeah.
Can I make a comment on that?
Sure.
Cause I walked around town, my Jeep is down once
Uh-huh.
again. And I took a garbage can, a bag and a glove,
Uh-huh.
because the number one piece of garbage in the world is cigarette butts,
Uh-huh.
a fact.
Uh-huh.
And I was trying to be the other guy in my head today, and I was in our little Riverside Park, going, okay, I am mad because I have no place to put my cigarette butt. So I'm just gonna grind it into the ground and make Alicia pick it up, So I'm just trying to be the other guy, right? And I'm thinking, well, maybe there is something to be said for where where do I put my cigarette butts? So that did come to my mind. If you have no place to put dog poo bags, or you have no place to put the cigarette butts, maybe you do get all kind of pissy about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even in City Park, isn't there signs that say no smoking? So
I don't think so.
That's why they're putting out the
The-
cigarette.
On the door, it says there's no smoking.
Yeah.
It says there's no drinking?
No smoking.
No smoking.
yeah,
The big
Yeah,
sign
so-
says the rules.
Okay.
yeah. So
Well, yeah,
that's
yeah.
Well, let's
Son, the
just
little
let you
guys.
know that
Yeah.
we have police that are, and I know for a fact that it would be very difficult for the police to be able to find the time to patrol that, but I think that the bigger, they will, but it's not a sure deal that they'll be able to find every single person smoking. So it seems like there needs to be more information, like a public campaign of, remember, don't smoke in the parks. But I think our parks have come a long, long way,
Oh,
because when
yeah.
we first started,
Absolutely.
there was a lot of vandalism that was happening in the parks, and a lot of that has been curbed. We had quite a few cases that we went through with teens who had done damage to the parks. We recently have had some, and we were able to work with the police and their parents very successfully to get that nipped. So I think that there's been a lot of positivity that's going on in the park. It's not perfect by any means, but I think in general, people just do need a place to put their cigarette butts, maybe even before they go into the park.
Let's just say I'm a smoker.
That's an
I'm
idea,
not,
yeah.
But where do I, if I'm walking down the street, let's say I'm Andy and let's say I'm anybody, I'm walking down the street, I don't smoke, but let's say I do.
Yes.
Where do I put it? I'm not gonna grind it, I wouldn't grind it down under my foot, but I wouldn't know where to put it. If there's nowhere to put it, what do you do with it? So
Did-
there used to be these cigarette things where you,
yes,
I'm just
that's what
saying, maybe we need to think about that.
I thought when we like just down Bridge Street, I thought there
Yeah.
used to be something that was on top of the garbage cans
Yes.
that would be for
Something.
cigarettes.
Something. Something somewhere.
Yeah.
We have it over by our
Those
building,
things
sure
are
building.
getting broken. The garbage cans that are downtown are pretty old,
Yeah.
and the tops have been getting kind of rusty
Right.
and falling off, so that's a whole nother thing that needs to be done. But cigarette smoking, yes, it's not
Yeah.
illegal, shouldn't happen in the parks, for sure, but, before you go into a park and.
But outside of the
and just
sidewalk
even on the
or
sidewalk.
something.
It's
Well, I
a
think
hard
illegal to
problem.
smoke
It
downtown.
really is.
Not
But
to
you know,
promote it,
sidewalk.
but just to
Yeah.
give them something to put it.
If a cigarette butt is the number one piece of garbage in the world, and it is true, I'm glad that you know that. If you think a town of 3,000 people is gonna solve it,
No.
Well, I'm trying, okay?
no, we can all do steps,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying that
Well, and then.
you're not gonna be able, unless you're gonna post somebody up at the park to say, please don't put your cigarette
No.
butt in the.
But it was
Well,
nice again to see
But if you're gonna
dogs
throw
and
your
kids
cigarette,
playing.
yeah, if you're gonna
Yeah.
throw your cigarette butt somewhere at the
Yeah.
park, and I hate to be this guy again, 'cause
Yeah.
this is me, because I'm tired and cranky.
It's
But
a preferred
the-
place.
If you're gonna have a cigarette butt in your hand, put it with some other ashes. Don't throw it on the ground. If I was a smoker, I'd put it in there. I would.
It won't start the garbage outside.
But,
I would put it. I
I-
would put it in the little fireplace thing, and then when
I have
you
a
know.
lot of employees that smoke, and they've asked for a place to put their
Yeah.
cigarettes, and so Sheridan Building Materials has
you have a
a
little can,
place to put it.
Correct.
But the rest of the town, I don't know where they are, I don't see them,
they're not.
I'm just suggesting it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
so-
I think
so
it's a
one
fair
more
thing to
picture I
suggest,
wanted to.
especially with fire danger, people don't wanna put
Yeah, absolutely,
burning
don't wanna
things
put it in
into
a garbage
a
can,
garbage,
Yeah.
or in a place where kids can even.
or anywhere, any
Yeah.
place safe would be a better suggestion.
Well, they do have those receptacles, but probably a good place for it would be right under the no smoking sign.
That's
It's true.
That's
Yes.
true.
Yeah.
Okay.
That little cabinet that's multicolor is very pretty there, but is it meant to be left open? Is it a little storage cabinet?
Yes, we have
It's pretty.
basketballs. Yes,
Very
Sandy Walker painted it, and there was a basketball that was put in there,
Uh-huh.
and we knew that it would be
Gone.
taken.
Yeah.
So the Bell family, we continue to put balls in it. And so one day, everybody who needs a ball in Sheridan will have a ball, and then we can all share the rest of the balls.
Yeah, it is.
But I don't know that it has its sign on it that says it's for ball sharing, does it yet?
It does not, it did
Yeah.
not appear to have a sign,
You asked Jake.
but it's very pretty.
Jake has this sign in his truck.
That is one pretty
Oh,
little,
oh, that is.
isn't that?
Sandy did a great job
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I love her the way she
So no
paints.
cost to the
Very
city for the
talented.
balls,
Yeah,
the
and
Bell
nice.
family continues,
Oh.
and we are happy to accept ball donations to put in there, by
Okay.
the way. If anybody else just wants to write on a Sharpie, that says City Park,
Uh-huh,
and put a ball in there.
Okay.
okay.
You're welcome to do so. There's hooks on the side. I'm gonna try to find it at garage sale or something.
Yeah,
So,
cause I peeked in,
I'm
the
gonna-
door was open already.
Yeah, I'm trying
It's
to,
like,
I'm gonna try to find at a garage sale some horseshoes,
Uh-huh.
because
Yeah.
we put, hooks on the side, and so we wanted to get some horseshoes. So if anybody has any horseshoes they don't want in their garage or something, feel free to put them over there, hook them up, but we do need some horseshoes because we put in all those pits and they don't get played very often, so.
And-
We're hoping it's just because people don't have horseshoes.
And when the Friends of the City Park had their meeting, Little League Lori attended, and she was saying that her grandkids live here, and they wanted to play basketball, but the lights weren't on later, so they could not play basketball in the city park.
Well, it depends how late, because the
Yeah.
park is closed.
So, is there a
How
way to
late was
get
she
the
there?
park, I don't know, it sounded like it was after dark
Yeah, no,
or dusk.
yeah, so I don't know, Sandy and I can look into that, but the park's closed,
Okay, that was her request then, or,
like midnight.
yeah,
basketball.
not midnight, but, you know, let's say 7 to 8 or 9. Is there a way to get the
I
lights
don't
on?
know the answer to that,
Okay,
but I don't know that they're not on, I think that they're on,
I don't know either, I've never been there late.
I know
I
that
have
that
driven
was.
by late and I see kids over there playing, so I don't know if she's, we'll look into that.
I
yeah,
know we've had issues with the lighting before, and I know that that was one of the concerns that we had when the Friends became a nonprofit, that was, the lighting in the basketball courts. And so I, off the top of my head, I don't remember what the outcome was of that, but that was, you know, quite a few years ago that
Mhm.
we had brought it up, so I know that something had been done, but I can't remember what that outcome was.
okay. Yeah, she, and,
Yeah, neighbors
I
don't
would-
like it when people are bouncing balls all through the night, so, I
Right.
mean, it's
Yeah,
kind of
I
problem
would-
living next to a park.
right, I wouldn't expect that they were playing, it sounded more like 7 to maybe 9 at the latest, but that, again, at the next meeting, if she comes, I can ask.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Sandy and I'll look into the lighting. of the
Okay,
basketball.
thank you, I
Yeah,
much
thanks for
appreciate
looking.
that, and I'm done.
Okay.
Sorry,
No worries.
yeah, because,
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so then now we go on to our, Parks Master Plan update.
Yes, so there has been some discussion, with, sorry, I'm trying to take all the notes too, double duty here. There's been some discussion with our, the city contracts with the city council, or the city contracts for city planning with the Mid-Willamette Valley Council of Governments. And they did the first park plan that you saw in 2014, and so I have, asked them to give us a price quote for what it would be like for them to go in and update it. And so today I had a good meeting with our city planner, cause they're actually gonna have a huddle is what they call it, on, I think, next week, about, if anybody has time to do it in their office. But I said, we essentially went through it today, and I said, you know, these are the parts that need to be updated, and people have capital improvement lists, so essentially popping some of that over. But, so some of that work is done, but some of it still needs, as we know, it needs a planner to do some of it. That's a professional document. And so as much as I wanna be able to do it, which I could, but I just do not have the time to do that. And so I think it's, best for them to do it, cause we already have a contract for services like that with them, and a private contractor will be much, much more expensive compared to what the deals we get with that nonprofit. So anyway, so fingers crossed that they give us a good deal for that, but we'll know next time we meet which
Cool.
direction to go. Yeah, but it is just 10 years old now, and so
Yeah.
it's really comparatively not as old as many other master plans that we have, and those are supposed to be good for like 20 years. So we're really not that far things than is what is listed in there. And so it's really just an update that needs to be done, crossing off things that have been done and revamping sections. So that's what we talked about today, not a whole thing.
Yeah, that's a 20-year plan, isn't it?
Yeah, 20-year plan. But hopefully, it was made in 2014, but a lot has changed.
Yeah.
And so just making sure that that plan is updated and that we have things in there that we want in there is important, because that document is used for grants often. If you don't have it in there, don't even bother asking for grant money for it.
Alright. Any other public comments? I don't think so, but,
I'll go ahead and,
okay,
I'll fill one out too.
alright, thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Let me see, I gotta turn my timer. It'll be quick.
Okay, yes, hi, Jody Lee, resident. I know, that they're gonna look into, the lighting for the park. I've been there about 3 weeks ago. The skate park is not well lit, but the basketball court is well lit. And that was like around 11 o'clock at night, kind of thing.
Really?
Yes, and the reason I remember that is because, that was the day that, some party of 3 were paranoid about me doing photography. They saw me with a flash, and then they decided to just come over to me to the other side of the park and get into an altercation. It wasn't physical, thank goodness, and we made peace, like a week ago at the American Legion, which was really cool. He told me his backstory about how his family and friends would take pictures of him in public, and they would narc on him and from his history, so then he kind of felt that way towards me. So we broke bread and got peace from there. But whenever I go to the parks, normally I would look at signage because of a habit, because I want to make sure that I'm within guidelines of a public park, and there is no signage that says it's closed at night or open in the morning. It doesn't say anything like that. I checked.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, but that's like the only thing I can think of right now at this time. But it is well lit. The skate park is not, but the basketball court is.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do recall seeing, aside from that signage that was, with the said the no smoking and all that, I thought that there had been previously signage that did state closed at
Like
dawn to dusk or something like that, but
that sign is over at Southside Park. There's signs over there at Southside.
Yeah,
Park.
but
maybe that's right.
Heber
But-
Park also said that.
And Heber Park has it as
Heber
well,
Park had that one time.
but the city park does not.
yeah, so I think maybe that signage has disappeared, cause I do recall seeing it at City Park itself at one point over the last 13, 14 years, so.
How does the
Something
lights
disappeared
come
14
on
years from
in
a public park.
basketball? Is that a sensor?
No,
What?
it's just permanently on.
It's permanently on. Boy, that's wasteful. In a way, shouldn't it be on like a timer or something?
Is the lights off during the day?
Lights off the day when I'm doing photography, but at night when there's nobody there, because usually I go to the park when there's no one there, just to give people a break kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
And there's no one there, there's nothing triggered, there's no animals triggering, there's nothing, and the light is always on,
There's probably a light sensor.
maybe. But I've been there for like half an hour at least doing photography, and that light never goes off.
I think
Wow.
this
That I've noticed, that I've
Oh,
noticed.
During the day.
It does, yes,
Do you
yes,
hear what he's saying?
but at
During
night,
the
Yes.
day
but
it
at
is
night, it's.
But what time at night does it come on? Is it dusk?
Yeah, and he's saying it stays on, cause those lights
Even
are really far up there, and
Uh-huh.
so we
Yeah.
have to rent a lift anytime.
Wow.
we
Okay, thank you.
So,
Thank you.
I think that there is a box on the outside. A box on the outside of one of the posts, but I don't know for sure. Luke,
Yeah.
Sandy and I don't have
Well, if it's
the
a
exact
photo
knowledge.
cell, it would just come on at dawn dusk,
Yeah,
and you can regulate that.
okay.
And they're cheap, so it wouldn't surprise me if that's what was
Yeah.
installed.
Save
We
money.
learned about
Really,
that.
you should kind of save money.
Oh,
Unless it's a security
I just
issue.
think for security, it
Yeah.
should be on all the time, in the dark.
Well, LED lights are cheaper, so.
So Sandy's gonna learn about
Okay.
the basketball court
Okay,
lights.
thank you.
Okay, sounds good.
Park's gonna be scary in the dark.
Alright, to our, committee member comments. Was there something else that you wanted to add? Okay,
Well, there's actually two.
okay,
I'll take the one about the calendar conflict.
okay.
The next meeting scheduled for us is, October 17th, but the candidate forum is that same night.
Yeah.
So the question is, you know, I won't be here, but I'm asking for an approved absent, but I'm wondering if that affects other people too, that, you know, so. Should it be rescheduled, or are you guys good to leave it the way it is on October 17th?
As far as I know, I think we could still leave it on the 17th, and just, that would be an excuse.
Okay.
Absence.
Okay, yes, whatever you guys wanna do.
Okay.
We'll miss you.
Well, that's fine, good. And then my second question is about Hebert Plaza. I went there today and I saw this ladder, kinda,
Oh, cool, isn't it? The peace ladder.
is it?
It's a peace ladder. Somebody
Oh.
dropped off a peace ladder. It's
Oh,
really
that's
cool. Yeah.
So it's leaning up against, I put it over to the side, cause personally,
Oh,
I
love
don't want it in front of the mural,
Well,
that's
but
just
it's-
me.
But it's got a peace sign on it.
Yeah.
I left it where it was. Okay, I thought it was really cool.
I didn't know what it was, truthfully. That's the
It's
peace?
It's a peace ladder.
And who makes the peace ladder?
Somebody that loves peace, that's a peace sign.
I'm not sure who would make that.
Yeah,
Is that made of wood?
it is, cause I just moved it off to the side, it was like, hey, it's in front of the mural, come on.
Well, it's a piece of art, it's called a peace ladder, I've seen
Okay.
it before. And it was a contribution from somebody, and I don't know who did it, but that's where I saw it, and I thought it was cool, I left it right where I was.
Okay, I guess I was the bad one, cause I moved it.
Well, not necessarily, but I mean, they didn't sign it, but I thought it was a nice contribution, we could put it somewhere else.
They put it right at, well, I see peace for Sheridan, maybe that's their comment, they're making a nice comment, but I did move it over, cause I love the mural,
Yeah.
so, okay, I'm good.
Well, that mural was, approved through the arts project.
But, yes,
Probably should stick to that, because of the rule, I would think,
That was
before you
made,
start getting everything else going.
it was made by the Art Conspiracy Kids.
Yes.
That's why I was asking, what, who made that?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the mural,
The mural.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
made by the Art
Yeah, that
Conspiracy.
was actually beautiful.
oh, again, I just didn't know what it
you
was.
just
It's just
don't
'cause I was
wanna
such
get
a
everybody
heavy-
put involved with whatever.
Yeah, that's another thing
No,
too,
but
again,
that, the art conspiracy, that was approved, we went through
I
that.
just
Yeah,
moved it
the
over to the
community
side,
grant, yeah.
that's all I did. So,
No, I think that's okay. Alright, and, there was something about the town hall.
Yes, thanks, Kara, for the reminder.
Okay.
So, Mayor Kale George is putting together a town hall meeting. It is on October 10th, from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. It will be at the high school cafeteria. And he is hoping, so let me tell you about the style. It's a little different. I think it's the coolest ever, so I'm really excited, and we're getting a very good turnout for it so far. So what it will be is he will be giving a state of the city address, and he has somebody giving a presentation as well. And then, after that, he wants there to be, kind of like, I've been calling it like a science fair style, and so it'll be all these nonprofits and service groups and faith groups and, all of, different taxing districts, like YamCo County Soil and Water will be there, and, different groups, I'm trying to say, like human health kind of service groups that are out there, right? And they will all be coming, as many as we can, and everybody will have their own table that they decorate. And they were putting together a brochure that states like the mission statement or whatever the group wants, 20 words or less. And people then can come into this and they can learn about all the entities that are offering things for Sheridan people and nearby resident or nearby community members. So we're getting a really good turnout and it's getting really exciting. So the mayor would like to right? There's a lot of things that you guys have knowledge about and that you would love to have maybe volunteers. Maybe you could ask somebody to put up a sign that says, do you know how to do fences?
Yeah.
You know, so there's lots of different things. You could decide that you wanna collect information, right? Maybe like rate these, or you could put together a little survey as a group. You know, you could do that through email, right? You know, like, what do we wanna ask? Do we have 5 questions we wanna ask people? Give them out on paper or something, and we can print them here for you, of course. But maybe RC cars, you could be asking some questions about that. I don't know, like, YamCo County Parks is going to be there as well. And so, Mayor is going to structure, when he gets all the RSVPs back, he's gonna start to structure the room so that there's kind of like things by like things. The sheriff's office is coming, and they'll have the neighborhood watch group there, and the CERT team sounds like it's gonna be there, and so all kinds of stuff. So I would like this group to think about having a table or tables, and I think you guys can decide that via email as a group, what you wanna do. And some of you I know are involved in other groups, and so there's been a question like, what if I'm involved in 2 groups? And the mayor says, well, it's up to you, figure out. So,
Put tables close together.
yeah, so you can kind of be at one table for a little while, and one table another one, and some people wanna make sure there's time for them to walk around. But there's all kinds of different things that's happening at that, so I urge people to invite their friends, their families, their neighbors, everybody. It's gonna be awesome. We are still looking for a couple of food carts to be outside. Gail thinks it'd be nice to have some food carts outside. I know
I'm
hard
just
to
gonna
get,
make
right?
my own food cart.
Yeah, by this
I'm
point,
just
Lisa.
done with it. I'm just gonna do my hot dog food cart.
But they're hoping to get a couple of food carts to be outside to really bring a draw in. But it is a really good way for these groups to get out their mission statements, to ask for volunteers, let people know the services that you're offering too. So get excited, get involved.
I know you emailed out that, the invitation thing. Do you have a printed copy that I can fill it out right now tonight for
the
you?
RSVP page.
Yes.
I almost said, Omega, we can print one.
Right?
You can't print one out.
Omega.
You have no toner.
Yeah. Oh, I don't have any toner.
Oh, gosh, okay,
Sandy used all, but I'm sure there's toner around here, so.
okay.
I'll stop at tomorrow and grab.
Okay, I'll tell Omega can she email you one, or do you can
Well,
just
I
fill it
don't-
out.
I
It's a
don't-
fillable thing.
What, I did not have the ability to fill that out when,
I'll have her send you an electronic fillable one.
okay, cause I'll look at it again.
I'll just combine it
Um,
with it.
Is it for a different nonprofit?
For
Somebody
Tree of
besides
Giving.
us? I think, yes.
Oh, yeah, cause we did not get one to that email, but I want to,
To Kira. I got it.
Yeah.
To Kira.
let me look at this really.
Can I eat hot dogs and hardware and shit?
Okay. You know, I haven't eaten the hot dogs at my house, I would cook.
Yeah, I know like
I'm a hot dog.
the Friends of the City Park talked about having a trifold, and they had pictures covering different, you know, like things, the community garden, the city park and all that. And maybe we could do that too for the different, you know, topics like RC cars, Riverfront group, skate parks, so that people can see the different, or, you know, things that we're working on.
We should put a basket out.
Yeah,
My brain shut off.
or a
I know.
picture,
I've been
or a
working 4
picture
o'clock in the
of
morning.
Brian's dead.
4 o'clock in the morning and 8 o'clock at night, and not in days at all.
okay.
To Kira. Okay, got it.
Okay, so yeah, I actually can fill it out, but
Kira, if you know.
Before you leave it.
I don't have the right tools to use it. It's not giving me an option to type.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll have
just-
them, I'll have Omega work with you.
Okay.
Grab,
Yeah.
grab all that information for
Okay.
you.
Yeah. Okay. Did you have something to add, Lucy?
I just wanted to say how nice the Southside Park looked. I was out there yesterday too, and I did about 8 laps around there.
You went 8
Eight, yes,
good job.
but and the Willamina pond just seems like I thought the Willamina pond was a mile one time around, and maybe ours was a fourth of a mile. And gosh, it was just so nice. I've seen ruts and dirt and slop. I've seen little kids fall, and that asphalt path is just so nice. When it rains, you'll still be able to go for walks, and everything blends so nice together, that parking lot. And it's not even done yet.
No.
But my gosh, it just looks so nice and clean. And her husband was so funny last night, I'm gonna say. He was on a skateboard and he had a commercial blower and he was blowing the straw on each side, and there was such velocity in that blower that it just zoomed him around the lot.
Like a jetpack.
It was like a jetpack, and he was just flying around the big red thing, blowing on both sides, and she was taking her little boy for a walk.
A lot of the fluff had made onto the walking path, and the wind blows, and he was like, "Let's just clean it."
But it was so cute. It looked like a
If
fun
you
sport.
cannot disturb the straw while the grass seed settles,
I definitely,
I don't know if you know how much work was
told him
involved.
that, and he knows that from his work.
I'll have a discussion with him.
He knows, he knows.
It was pretty cute. It was pretty cute. And it looks great, and I know it's not done yet. And all the clearing of the soil they got, I mean, remember when what's his name was here about the amphitheater, you can almost kind of tell where they're kind of wanting to put that at, and they cleared all that dirt and leveled it. Not perfect, but it was really, really big time difference. When are you gonna put water in there?
In the water feature,
Well, I noticed that the pond's real low.
we've been putting water in there.
I know.
Yeah, and it started last Friday. I don't know if they've since turned it off, but I know it ran over the weekend.
Bigger question is when you're gonna stop with this fish again.
Well, that's,
I go-
Oregon Fish and Wildlife,
Fish
and
and
they come in, I believe they start at like 8.
We're not seeing what it is.
Is this part of the?
I
Are we
know.
done?
Is there anything else?
I have one
Yeah.
right away.
Okay, Leisha has something
So
else,
this water
really
feature,
quickly. Okay, go ahead.
Really quickly, our friend David from Redemption Gardens
and,
couldn't be here
so-
tonight, he's busy with paintbrush in the
Oh,
dark.
yeah.
So he's painting his buildings and getting ready for the grand reopening of Redemption Gardens out on the highway. He would have liked to come, but when I left him, he was going like this in the dark.
I saw him
So-
painting when I was driving home.
Well, okay, I was passing these out
Yeah.
over town. And, so they were having music and food and festivities out there Saturday from 2 o'clock on till when they stop. And so anybody that can go out to Redemption Gardens out by the Dairy Queen and off the Highway 18, come out and join us. I'll be out there helping him out. And, he's gonna be selling tie-dye and plants and willow furniture and everything else, and want you guys to join him.
Awesome, okay, thank you. Alrighty. We got, is anything else?
I hope you feel better, Joe.
Yeah. Alright, so I guess then we go ahead and adjourn at 7:15.